Hey guys, welcome back to the Mojito Jeep Garage. Today we've got another install video coming your way. This one shouldn't be too difficult, shouldn't be too hard to do. It's kind of one of these ones that's a simple install, but I think it makes a big difference on vehicles. I've done it on a lot of other vehicles, not just the Jeep before. Actually, I've never done it on the Jeep before. This is gonna be my first time. But like on our Cayman here, let me show you. Our Cayman came on the front bumper with amber side markers from the factory. That's kind of a US requirement that these are amber colored. But the European design is a clear, kind of clear with black inside. And I think it just makes a huge difference on the Cayman not having that orange eyesore, really. And I changed these out years ago on our Cayman back when we got it in 2016. And now our friends from Diode Dynamics just came out with a set of LED clear side markers to replace these eyesore amber side markers that come from the factory on the JL Wranglers in the United States. I wasn't sure because I have the LED lighting package if this was something that was going to be worth doing or if it was going to work on the Mojito Jeep, but they did inform me it will work. There are clear side markers. And it shouldn't be it's not gonna be a very difficult install, shouldn't take too long to do. They do also offer these in a smoked lens. You might be able to see it on the box here. Like I said, I did go with the clear. So let's get the box opened up, see what's inside the box, and we'll go from there. Okay, so in the box, we're gonna open this up here. We do have some more Diode Dynamics decals. We've got the instruction booklet here on how to do this. And as you can see, there are two replacement side markers, which are cool, nice looking clear LED lighting that are gonna still light up amber colored, but the lens is clear. You can see in here on the back side, it's got the wire with the plug that's gonna get installed into the fender in the driving lights. So that's that. There's two of those. Underneath the package that holds the lenses, got a little baggie that has two more replacement rivets, and you'll see we do have to punch out two of the rivets in the fender, and these are gonna be the replacement ones to go back in after we do these. So let's get started. Now, one thing I did wanna mention, I've had these in stock for a couple of weeks now and I have not installed them yet because I recently noticed that our driver's side fender is actually very loose. So this driver's side fender is very loose, and I can see inside here that two of the clips are not holding in. I don't know if you can see them in there, but there's two white clips that are not holding on to the body of the Jeep. Now, I believe the reason that I'm having this issue with this fender is because we actually had both of our fenders, when we first got it, we noticed that our Jeep had these weird dimples in the top of the fenders, and we complained about it. We took it back to the dealer. The dealer took it to their body shop where they attempted to fix the paint in it and reinstall them. It turned into a whole ordeal, and actually, I don't know, I'm not even sure if it was better that I had them touch them or leave them alone the way they were. But I think because they had these off a couple of times to paint them, and they tried some different, actually had Jeep send them a couple of other Rubicon fender sets, which they informed me were actually worse with the dimple than our factory ones were. So they ended up trying to fix ours. They're okay, I can tolerate it. I don't notice it that much all the time anymore. But I think that's why my fender flare is actually loose. So what I wanted to do is, while I'm in here kind of taking some parts of the fender liner out, I want to see if I can get in there and see if I can push those clips in a little tighter and get this fender held back in. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to take it back to the dealer and complain again, which I'd rather not do. Now that I showed you guys that, I'm gonna jump in here on the driver's side one. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do to start removing the fender liner, I grabbed my Matte CC trim kit that I got a while back, and I've been using this a lot for a lot of these projects I've been doing on the Mojito Jeep. If you haven't picked one of these up yet, it was like $18 on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description as I always do. But you can see it comes with an assortment of plastic trim tools. And the first thing that we're gonna end up doing is right up alongside here. Let me flip the light on. So right up inside the fender, you're gonna find 4 of these little clips. They're little plastic trim clips. And we need to pop out all 4 of these right inside underneath the trim here. So not these rivets out here, but right inside here. So we're gonna start by removing those 4. Ooh, this metal one seems to work out pretty nicely with the nice turned up head. So I've got those 4 pieces out. Okay, so the next step is to remove this one-time use rivet from the edge of the trim here. And what you need to do is you're gonna take a pick and you wanna press it into the center of this to kind of pop that center out, and then you'll be able to pry this outer ring off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Like I said, it is a one-time use, so that's why Diode Dynamics has supplied some new rivets to put in there. Okay, so I'm not having much luck with the pick pushing in and getting that head to pop out inside in the center of the rivet here. So what I'm gonna do is I grabbed a teeny tiny little drill bit and my little Ryobi drill, and I'm just gonna drill through the center of this and see if this gets it to pop out. I'm being really careful because I don't want to go too far through because I don't know what's behind the rivet here, so I'm just going super slow. There we go. Yeah, so it went about maybe a 1/4 inch in before it popped, which my pick isn't quite long enough. And then what they said to do is take your pick and use that to pry the head of the rivet out. So let's see if this works for me. Since the other way wasn't. I can get this to pull away a little. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So I was able to use the pick to be able to get this behind it and then worked it away. And now it came out the rest of the way. That was definitely the trick. I don't know, I was not having luck with the pick. Maybe it was because my pick isn't super sharp and pointy or long enough, but that wasn't working for me. Little drill bit and then the prying it out. So let's see here, let's flip you around. You can see the hole here, which got that loose here. So now we need to go to, there's one right here that they said has a Phillips head, but they said you can just pry that one out. So I'm gonna grab one of my pry tools again and see if I can just pop it off. Okay, so that popped out. So next up, you want to grab a little ratchet and a 10mm socket, as well as an 8mm socket. I'm going to start with the 10mm. The 2 10mm bolts are up on the top side here. So I've got one here towards the front, and then the second one is right here in the back, kind of tucked up in there. So I'm gonna remove those 2 first, and then the 8mm one, you can see right here, that's the 8mm, so that'll be the last one I'll take out. I'm gonna start with the 2 10s. And then the second one towards the back here. Again, both of these are 10mm. There's the second one. These both appear to be the same length. And then I'm going to switch from the 10 to the 8mm socket for the last one up front. Okay, so from here, Diode Dynamics says to pull the fender liner back so that you're pulling it down to give us access to the driver side running light. tucked up inside here. Okay, so once you peel this back, you can see that up inside here you have pretty good access to the running light on the driver's side, and you've got the bolts here, so we're gonna have to unscrew a couple of those to get this thing loose to replace that, but it gives you pretty good access. At this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue along, because it only looks like there's a couple more plastic clips, and I'll be able to remove this whole liner, so that I'm hoping it's gonna give me access to where those clips are that are loose inside here, and so I can kind of push those in and make sure this thing is locked on better. So at this point is where you would be able to then just do this, reach up in here, looks like the plug's right there. But I'm gonna take the fender liner out, so you don't have to continue here, but I'll pull this all out. It'll give you a better view of what we're doing, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm not gonna pull it all the way out, since it does seem like these are actually pulling off the clips on the back side here, but it's gonna give me enough room where I can see down in here to see where those white clips are pulled out, and I should be able to push them back in. Okay, to show you what I'm looking at is there's these white clips here, and these are not in the holes or pushed in, and they're not in the holes, and it's allowing the fender to be real flimsy. But I'm gonna have to go ahead and look at these a little more carefully and see if I can push them in. Okay, so luckily that was an easy fix, getting those clips in. There was actually 3. I didn't see one all the way at the bottom down here that looked like it actually wasn't even connected correctly to begin with. So who knows what happened there, but the fender seems to be a lot better. And then once I get this all buttoned back up, I think it'll finally like settle it in. So now let's get back to the diode dynamics portion. You want to locate this wire here, and what you'll notice is the way it connects. This is the one that goes to the side marker. You can see the side markers here. This one runs along right over here and plugs in. It's got a little clip tab. I'm going to try to just, I was able to get my nail underneath it. Of course, it's not focusing, but there's a little tab here, and if you can just get your nail underneath it, or a pick, or a little flat blade screwdriver, it will easily release. And I think all I got to do then is there is one right in here. There is a T27 Torx bit, and what that's going to do is that's going to release the light, so that we can pull the light out of there. Okay, so I grabbed my T27 Torx bit, and I'm just gonna go ahead and release that one screw that we were talking about. And you'll notice this gets really loose as you're going. So this just pulls out, and so you can go ahead and set the other that amber light to the side, hang on to the screw. Now I did notice in Diode Dynamics instructions, they do tell you to remove a bracket and some more screws in order to get to this. I didn't need to, so I don't know why they mentioned that in their video, but now I just gotta figure out which one of these side markers is the clear side markers matches up with the way the one I just removed is, which I just happened to grab the right one right off the bat. So I'm gonna take that. This wire is gonna need to get fed down through. Took a little bit of adjusting to get it to slide in there properly, but once it did, I felt it lock into place. Now I just gotta grab my bolt and my T27 again. And I'm gonna go back from the inside through. So now I just gotta take my wire from under here and reconnect it back to where I disconnected the previous one. And just like that, we've got a clear corner. And I just replugged in the connector here. And then we're gonna start buttoning up all of the fender liner stuff and connecting this. But first, let me show you the difference between this marker and the one on the other side, since I forgot to show you what it looks like before when they're lit up. So this is the passenger side one, the one that we haven't done yet. You can see that the lens is orange, but it also lights up orange when the lights are on, your running lights. And then if you look at the new clear lens, It's a clear lens, but when the lights are on, it still lights up orange or amber. So you're still going to be street legal with what the rules are in the United States here. And then when they're off, they're clearly clear to match the front lens. And then again, this is the factory with the orange and the clear LED running lights. Okay, so now I just need to begin working the whole fender liner back into place. And we gotta put the 10mm bolts back up into the top center. And we got the one more 10mm up in the center here. And then the last 8mm one, which goes up towards the front here. Okay, so now we've got this last rivet here that we drilled out, had to basically break to get it out of there. And Diode Dynamics does supply a replacement rivet, but because we don't have the proper tool to put these rivets in, you do need a special tool for a rivet. And these plastic ones are different than a normal rivet gun, I believe. What they suggest is actually breaking this end off, which I was having a hard time. I watched their instructions quite a few times. I was having a hard time with that. And they say to break this off. And so I'm gonna do this as we're watching. Hopefully this works the way they say. And they say it'll break off flush. So I did actually break off the tip of this from the rivet. And they said to hollow it out inside using something kind of sharp in there. So I'm gonna set this piece off to the side. I'm gonna still need this, so don't lose this. Little pick from earlier, and just push through and make sure that it's cleared out, which now the hole is open through. And they say what that's gonna do is it's gonna allow us to be able to push this through by hand now. So I'm gonna see if I can get it started. Yeah. So now that I've got it started in here a little bit, it will slide in on its own without needing that tool. So I'm gonna take my rivet and feed it up in to the slot, and then it is allowing me to push this in. But that did not seem to do the job. When I pushed it in, it didn't do anything but push through. So I'm not sure if I did this right or not, what they were saying. Okay, so on the passenger side here, I'm gonna begin by removing the, there's 4 plastic push tabs along the top here that need to come out to loosen up the fender liner here. Now I'm going to grab my socket and a little extension. I do have an 8mm here I'm going to start with to undo the first screw, which is right up in here in the front. That's an 8mm. So I started with the driver's side and I'm doing the passenger side second, and I'm going to see if I can try to cheat a few things and not remove this rivet at all. Since I still haven't quite figured out how I'm supposed to replace the other one on the other side. But I've only removed this screw here instead of the other 2 10mm so far. And I'm gonna see if I can get this loose enough, which it sure seems like I can, to where I can get up to the one screw that's right up in here. So let me see if I can prop this down. Actually, that should definitely do it right there to get me up in there to the one screw. So I'm gonna move my light out of the way. Okay, so I think this is gonna work out really well, just kind of cheating things, but I am gonna go ahead and take the one 10mm bolt out that's right here towards the front of the vehicle. I'm gonna pop that one out, and I think that'll give me enough space to work in here. So with that second screw out, I should be able to pull this down a bit more. And you can see I will be able to access the one screw I need to release here to get the light out and easily access the wiring clip. Okay, so same thing in here. Just trying to get this wire clip undone. Trying to hold the light, the camera, and show you all at once here. So right here we got just a little tab that needs to pop up. While you pull out on it, you can see I just did it with one hand. It's that simple. And then right in here is the T27 screw. You can see it right there. Then I'm gonna have to undo and that will pop the light right out. Start unscrewing the light. Okay, so this one took a little bit of working. The other one kind of just wanted to pop right out. This one took a little bit of working out, but it came right out. And then matching up the clear one. Gotta feed the light, the wiring harness down through again. And get this to slide into place. And then don't forget to plug in the wire right away. You don't want to get it all buttoned back up and then forget to do that. So, and I do recommend you test out your lights before you button your everything back up here. So I will do that after I put the screw back in here. But what I will say is I'm not really sure why Diode Dynamics calls for removing extra screws for a bracket underneath here. Oh, my light just died. But why they call for extra screws for a bracket up in here, and why they require you, or they recommend that you drill out this rivet. So I'm glad I didn't on this side. I did on the other. I'm gonna have to figure out how to button that back up since these rivets aren't really working for me. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the screw back in this and test it and button everything back up on this side. So this was much easier than what I did on the driver's side. So all I need to do is tuck my the fender liner back up in here. So that's back up in. I just need to pop my couple of clips back in and the two screws, because I did take out the one 10mm and the one 8mm. So I will start with those. So nice and simple. This was a lot easier than, like I said, what I had to do following the instructions for the driver's side and popping out that rivet, which, like I said, I'm gonna have to figure out something for the driver's side on that, since the rivets that they supplied, I'm not quite sure how they're supposed to work. I don't know if this is only different because I have a Rubicon, and I don't know if the one that Diode Dynamics installed on was a Sport or Sahara or something different with the different fender flares other than the Rubicon, or also if it has something to do with the fact that I have the LED lighting package. I don't know if theirs did or not, but if you can get away with doing it this way, definitely do it. Try to cheat it a little bit. This one took me a lot less time than the other side. Overall, super easy install. I wish I had figured out that I didn't have to do the rivet and was able to kind of cheat things. At least I call it cheating according to what their directions call for from Diode Dynamics. I hope all of you can get away with doing it this way. So if you're looking for just something cool, something a little different than you're gonna see on every other JL on the road, check out Diode Dynamics. You've already seen us do the cowl lights up there. You've seen us do the light bars in the grill. Now they're clear side markers, and we do have another light bar coming soon. Should be here actually, check the tracking, it's supposed to be here tomorrow for the back of the Jeep. So stay tuned for that one. I'll have that one probably coming in about a week. For now, I'll put the link to these in the description. But again, nice, super easy mod. The only thing I could pick on it is that little rivet thing. It's a little awkward, but I was glad I was able to get that done and fix my fender at the same time. That seems to be a lot sturdier now. So stay tuned. We've got more videos coming every week. Let us know what you think of these. Drop your comments below. Let me know what you think. This grill is coming off soon. I plan on putting the stock one back on, but I've been waiting for a particular moment to do that. Make sure you give us a big thumbs up. I'm glad a lot of you are subscribing. We got some new subscribers after we went off-roading. Please subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video.